Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is kicking off her tenure as Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee chair by assuring donors that she'll protect the status quo. Now, at a private DSCC fundraiser on Wednesday, donors were assured by Gillibrand that she's prepared to intervene in contested primaries. Senate Democrats want to avoid the GOP's Obama-era pain of watching preferred candidates lose primaries to unelectable newcomers. Gillibrand and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer know their ability to claw their way back to the majority starts with candidates who are built for the general election. Now, the conversation primarily revolved around upcoming Senate races in Maine, North Carolina, and Michigan. And they're already starting to pick the candidates that you voters get to vote for. In North Carolina, Gillibrand told donors that Roy Cooper, the former North Carolina governor, would be a formidable candidate, according to people familiar with the matter. Michigan Senator Gary Peters announced this week he would not seek re-election in his Michigan Senate seat, but South Bend, Indiana native Pete Buttigieg is taking a close look at that race, as is Representatives Haley Stevens and Hillary Scholten, in addition to current Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist. Now, Cenk, this is so nice of them. They're doing all the heavy lifting for us. They're gonna pick the candidates, and then the voters get to go out and vote for them. How great is that?
You know, I'm so thrilled about this because they have such a terrific record of anointing candidates. So I remember when I thought it was a bad idea to anoint Hillary Clinton, they reassured me that there was no way she could lose. And, okay, they seem to have gotten that one spectacularly wrong, but it's okay, because I was later reassured that Joe Biden in 2024 was the only Democrat in the country who could win. That all other Democrats were totally incompetent, and then the only one who could win was this young, dynamic Joe Biden. That didn't work out either, but that's okay. It's okay, because right afterwards they anointed Kamala Harris, who I was sure, they were absolutely positive Kamala Harris is going to beat Donald Trump. I'm hearing now that that also didn't happen. So that's interesting. So now they're going to go back to anointing. I bet they pick right this time. Or I know this is crazy, right? How about we try the thing that you said you were championing in this 2024 election? Democracy. How about we try an even battlefield and see if you really do have the best candidates? And the good news is, if you do, they'll easily win the primary. And by the way, your candidates are going to have such a monumental money advantage, and remember, media advantage. The media is going to tell everyone, remember, the establishment corporate robot that Gillibrand picked is the only one who could win. How many times have we heard that, right? Do not pick anyone like Bernie Sanders. Don't pick a populist. They'll never win. They'll never win. Only the establishment candidates are so good at losing to Trump. I mean, winning maybe ever, never, but really. But remember, propaganda is awesome, and never vote for a populist, never vote for a progressive, only vote for the establishment candidates, because that's worked out so well for us. And that's why we just lost the popular vote in every single swing state. And what did I tell you guys? The Democratic Party is never going to learn. They have to be defeated in the 2028 primary. If they are not defeated, they will go back to anointing the most corrupt candidates, the most pro-corporate candidates, every single time, because they don't care about winning. They don't care about their voters. They don't care about you. All they care about is donor money. Where is it? Buttigieg can get so much donor money. Everybody's going to get rich. The consultants are going to get rich. They're going to take 15%. Everybody else is going to be like, oh, now my donors are happy, that your donors are happy. Are all the donors happy? All the donors are happy. So that means they're going to get to stay in power within the Democratic Party, even if they lose the general election. So here we go again. They're paid not to learn these lessons.
I'm so happy you brought up the point about the Democrats claiming to be the sort of guardians and protectors of, small d democracy. And stuff like this makes a sham of that very notion. And it's funny how things have reversed, right? The sort of Republicans used to be the country club, sort of elite Republicans would kind of from the top down traditionally pick a candidate and it'd be this kind of thing where the party decides. And the Democrats would be the ones that, sort of let the candidates be chosen from the ground up. That was traditionally how things gone. And the roles have reversed. The Republican base is ascendant. They get the candidates they want, no matter what, every single time, which ensures that they get the most right-wing, conservative, frothing at the mouth candidate possible at every single turn. And the Democrats have become the ones that just shove awful, unattractive candidates down their base's throats every single turn, whether they lose or not. And I think it's hilarious that the people that Gillibrand felt like needed reassurance are not the base, the voters, the people, but her freaking pimps in the donor class. It's kind of crazy how that works.
Yeah, I want to remind people that this type of behavior from people in these positions in the Democratic Party is rewarded and incentivized. There was a while where Gillibrand was a little left of center. Some people wanted to call her a progressive. I never thought she was, but there were some people that really liked her and thought she was a new and different type of Democrat. And here she is doing the same old self-preservation, looking out for their own, that gets rewarded in the long run. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, before he was House Minority Leader, when he was second or third in command in the House, was working with Josh Gottheimer, someone who was working to stop, fighting behind the scenes to stop key components of Biden's major legislative proposals, Build Back Better, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and business interests through a PAC called Team Blue, that their only mission was to stop Justice Democrats from primarying Democrats. So her telling the donors that shows where her priorities are and ultimately shows where the party's priorities are.
Yeah, and guys, look, you know I've had disagreements within the left-wing ecosystem, right? Media and political. So I'm not saying, hey, pick the most radical candidate. I'm not saying pick this person or that person based on their policy issues. I'm saying let the voters decide, right? So you come in with your weak sauce corporate policies, and the problem with the corporate candidates is that they have this giant lying machine on their side, mainstream media. Because remember, to Jordan's point, Gillibrand didn't, in the beginning, she was a corporate candidate in the beginning of her career. It's just whatever donors wanted, and then she was feted by mainstream media and given enormous credit, et cetera. And then she builds up her brand. And then when she was thinking of running for president in 2020, she did this hard left turn that they all did, like Kamala Harris did, and hence why she was on the record as appearing to be on the far left when she actually was never there in the first place. So Gillibrand did the same thing, but in her case, she was like, oh my God, I'm not taking corporate PAC money anymore. And people were like, Cenk, you have to give her credit. You have to give her credit. She's not taking, and I did, like a sucker, not like a sucker because I didn't have a choice, because that's what she was saying. And I'm like, hey, good, I wanna take the win. I wanna welcome people that are going to the right side. But was I skeptical? Of course. And then you, of course, found out like 6 months later, oh, there's all a giant trick. They're just taking the corporate money in a different direction. Of course they didn't mean that. So now she's dropped all pretenses of being a progressive or populist or anything, right? She's back to like telling the donors, oh, don't worry, we got you covered. We will pick the best candidates possible for the donor class, because that's a genius move to win elections. Because it's not like we just saw the country hates the donor class and the establishment. They hate him so much they voted for a fake populist. And most of them even know that he's a fake populist. They're like, he's better than the establishment. And these guys, again, never gonna learn. Everybody in mainstream media is gonna lie about it. And you could take the most, you could take a populist candidate that isn't far left at all, and you know what'll happen? The media will say they're far left anyway, right? So it's super frustrating when you have this giant machine of cable news, New York Times, Washington Post, that just does nothing but propaganda for corporate politicians.
So recently, a poll came out that showed that amongst Democrats, Kamala Harris has a 79% approval rating, which means what? That she's very popular still amongst Democrats, people who identify with the party. So what does that say? Like, obviously my kind of freaky ass left-wing candidates aren't just gonna automatically win, right? That means that Democrats are a lot more, closer to the center in terms of the rank and file than, some of our more progressive people amongst the constituency. So I say all that to say, like, you can run your milquetoast, regular corporate Dems. They might probably even still win, but it will be worth it for them to go through some kind of process where they are challenged and they are now hardened for victory when they go up against Republicans, in their general races. Like, this democracy thing matters, and I think that's still sharpens steel, and that there should be a process by which people like Gillibrand and the donor class don't get to just handpick any old candidate with no test whatsoever.
They're gonna run fake populists too. Like, get ready for that. Like, it's gonna be a lot of Buttigieg and flannel jackets and shirts. So, and the media will pretend that they're actually populist, just like they pretended that Gillibrand was a progressive when she was doing all those cute little marketing tricks. So, strong primaries create strong candidates that lead to victories. So when they tell you, don't waste your money on a primary. It's important that we keep it for the general election. And remember, the Republicans, they just pick these extreme candidates, and that's why they lose. Oh wait, they have the Senate and the House and the White House. What do they have? They have primaries where they rip each other's faces off. And you know what it does, whether we like it or not, stronger candidates. By the way, also tons of more media attention to their candidates, which is a giant, huge gift to them. And then they win the general election, and that's how they control all of Washington right now. We need to have strong primaries where everyone gets to run and it's an even playing field. And do not listen to Democratic leadership. They do not have your best interest in mind. They have their best interest in mind.
When you look at the primaries, the contested primaries on the left, and they talk about these candidates coming into the general embattled, and if that is a corporate Democrat who comes in limping because of a tough primary, think about the attacks that we've seen in some of these recent contested races. It is corporate interests digging up the worst possible things they can find on a progressive challenger and smearing them with that. And then the progressives running against the policies of the corporate Democrat. Those are unpopular. It shows that they're running to serve corporate interests, and people get skeptical because they want someone who's going to look out for them. It's why Trump, while we know it's hollow, has seen success because he at least speaks to people's concerns. Democrats want to run on these abstract concepts like preserving democracies and honoring institutions. That's not a vote mobilizing topic. Those are not things that get people to the polls, and they have policies that are unpopular. And when a progressive challenges them on that, that is what creates a weak candidate. And it's really up to them to change that. It's a totally avoidable circumstance.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.